ends. Alex Macias, she graduated in 2004. Well, the 60-minute program doesn't tell it, but she lasted like 2 months at Xavier.
Oh.
And she was back home. It was too far away, and it was too much, and so forth. We knew nothing about Alex for the next, I don't know, 6 years. And about 3 months ago, I was on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, and this young lady was talking to me, "Are you Father Foley?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm Alex Macias." She said, "Oh, Alex." I said, "My gosh, 60 Minutes, we played the tape all the time," so forth and so on. And she said, I said, I know you went to Xavier, but you didn't last very long there." She said, "No, I came home and I went to Roosevelt University, and then I transferred to UIC, University of Illinois in Chicago." She said, "And I graduated, and now I'm going to law school." So even the sad cases have these tremendous. She said, "I'm working now at the district attorney. What is it? District attorney? The what?
District attorney?
Yeah, I think so. District attorney's office. I don't know. Some law office where she's doing a lot of crime and punishment and all that.
Law and order.
No, but it just goes to show that that's the kind of people we're working with. We are so privileged to work with these young people. We restrict our admittance to kids. You have to prove that you can't go to, you don't have the means, you don't have the wherewithal to go to another school where you'd have to pay. You have to prove that. You have to show that. Mayor Daley is the one that made us understand once, and he didn't mean it as a compliment. He said, "I don't like Cristo Rey because they're exclusive." And we said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, my kids couldn't go there." And I said, "I think he's right. He's right. We are exclusive schools. We are exclusively for those who need us. And those are the ones that we make room for and help to go." And I say in the 60-minute thing that I wanted to hide under the table, and that's literally true. I was maybe the biggest skeptic whether this was going to work. I said it there. So people are going to be calling up at 10:50 in the morning saying, "What do you want? Come and get these kids." And the fact is, they did call up at 10:50 in the morning and thanked us for sending the kids to our schools, to work at their offices. So we've come from wanting to hide under the table to 24 schools across the nation. About 3 years after, from wondering if it would ever work, one fine day after about 3 years, we looked at each other and said, "This is working better than we ever imagined. This is gonna. Maybe we can do this in other places." So we just kept multiplying, and it's 24 schools now, as you've been told 3 or 4 times. 24 schools, and next year there'll be 25, and we have like 8 more in the pipeline right now. And we haven't begun one school. All our schools are the fruit of a group in a community calling us and saying, "We'd like to start a Cristo Rey school." So we have it all worked out what you have to do if you want to begin a Cristo Rey school, which they did here at ICA a couple of years ago, to do their own feasibility study to see if it would work. So we consider ourselves the luckiest people on earth, because this thing has got so much life and so much excitement, and just these kids are just going wild. We call this thing a win-win situation. When we started in Chicago, the person in charge of the work-study program, we would have meetings like this with possible new sponsors. And the person in charge of the work-study program in Chicago would hand out a list of all the schools, all the sponsors that we had up till then, with a telephone number, and he would say, "Call any one of these people you want and ask them if it works." So, and I was like, "My Lord, what a bold thing to do." And it was great, because it does work, and it's a win-win situation. The people in the offices feel so good about themselves. The employees are proud of their offices. The kids bring such a youthful spirit, enthusiastic spirit, energetic spirit. We have them at our office in Chicago, and it's just a fun day when you see these kids coming in and working. It's just fun to be with them. How was your weekend? Fine, Father Foley, how was yours? And they just enter into these social graces and they become so self-confident, so sure of themselves in the very best way. You know, we began this thing to pay the bills, and our job was to begin a school for Hispanics in Chicago. And one day, there were 3 of us working on the committee to begin the school. And one of the provincials said to us, well, have you figured out how you're going to pay for it yet? You know, we're relatively intelligent people. We looked at each other and said, oh, we really haven't thought about that yet. Well, he said, you better get to work on that. So how are we going to pay for this school in a place where people don't have the money to pay for it? And we didn't know. But we knew a person who was a very original thinker. A person, I consider him just very artistic in he's very creative and extremely intelligent gentleman. So we knew to look him up and say, we'd like you to be our consultant. We'd like you to give us some suggestions, give us some ideas on how to pay for a school when people don't have the money to pay for it. So he said, well, let me think about it. And 2 weeks later he came back and he said, what would happen? What about if every student had a job? And that was the birth of this model. It wasn't my idea, it wasn't any Jesuit's idea. It was the Holy Spirit's idea, but through this consultant. It was people laugh at consultants and they say, you know, you really listen to a consultant? And it was a brilliant idea. It was a brilliant idea. So that's how it began. And these kids, so this is a win-win situation. The kids come to work. The employees are proud of their company. The employees feel good about themselves. The employees feel like they can't go to the inner city, but so the inner city comes to them, and they feel like they're making a difference. And the supervisors will come to school to see the kids play basketball. They'll come to school on graduation day. They'll come to school for any reason whatsoever. Sometimes we see the kids showing their supervisor around the school. And totally excited, totally proud of their school, and showing their supervisor off, and showing them around the school. So it's just an extremely positive experience. The kids don't come with bad habits. The kids don't come with bad habits. They're not talking on the phone all day. Who are they going to talk to? They're not sending out resumes to see if they can get a better job someplace else. They're eager to learn, and they're excited about learning, and they're very good about they're just fun to have around the office. So this really is a win-win situation. Everybody wins in this whole deal. It's just amazing. So I think the greatest proof that this works is the fact that 83%, last year, this is statistically proven, 83% of the contracts from last year were renewed this year. We renew our contracts every year, so people can get out of this. That was a mistake. We should have had them. We should have had them sign once and keep them in. But they can get out anytime they want. 83% re-up last year, and so that's with companies closing, difficult situations presenting themselves economically. 83% wanted to go again this year. All the kids get qualified. They get qualifications from their supervisor at the end of well, I guess 3 or 4 times during the year. 93% of our students got either good or excellent in their work, in the way the supervisors criticized them. And I'm told right here at this school it was 98%. That's fantastic. That's even better. It's even better. So it's a very exciting new concept, you know. And Rob was talking about the kids staying in school, and we think that the difference, the reason they're staying in school better than their counterparts, is the work-study program. The work-study program has taught them to face problems, to overcome problems, to put up with maybe something that isn't as pleasant as they would like it to be every day. And they have worked, they've been at jobs, they know what it is, and they have Rob told me that the Gates Foundation has a new vice president in charge of grit and tenacity. And that's what our kids have learned in the work-study program. The network recently got a grant from the Templeton Foundation, and it's a small grant, $100,000, to prepare a big, massive study of what it is that the kids learn by working that helps them to get through college. So it's a fast work. Once again, it's more than we ever bargained for. You know, from not knowing if this was going to work to 24 schools, 6,500 kids across the country, 31 million, generating $31 million this year in their own education. We didn't bargain for this. This wasn't our idea. This was much more than we ever thought it was going to be. So that's what's happening to our schools. And so excited that some of you may be part of it. Hopefully you will be part of it. Hopefully you will invite the kids to come and work at your places of where you are, where you work. And the kids, there's just wonderful anecdotes about the kids. Now imagine this 14-year-old. You have to be 14 years old. Imagine this 14-year-old in Chicago getting on the bus at school and going downtown and getting out of the bus in front of the Sears Tower. And they go up to the 16th floor or the 60th floor. They go to this gorgeous office. They find a desk with their name on it. And that's where they're going to work. The kids bring their families down to see their place of work on Sundays when it's all closed. And they show their parents where they work on the 60th floor and so forth. Another kid went home and told his mother and father that, you won't believe this, there's television on the elevator. No, that's just mind-blowing. There's television on the elevator. So that's the kind of things that are happening. We have to teach the kids. We as part of the preparation, we take them downtown and we teach them what a revolving door is, what an escalator is, what an elevator is. One of the people on our staff was taking a kid to this strapping 17-year-old young man to a new job. And they were going up on the elevator, and she said they were on about the 17th floor, and she could see that he was getting stiffer and stiffer and more nervous, and she said, what's the matter? And he looked at her and he said, how do we get down? Isn't that just, that's just, so talk about socialization, and talk about bringing people into, the person who introduced, who really put this program together used to talk about, this is a totally new cultural experience. It's like going to a foreign country. Customs are different, language is different, priorities are different. It's just wild. So, anyway, we love it, and we love that you are interested in it, and thank you for your presence here indicates your interest. So, we hope that, this is the lifeblood. This is the lifeblood of our program. And so we really need your help, and we hope that you can come up with, you can give us a push when we need it, which is now. Thank you very much.